Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Joe. Welcome to recap number 89. Tonight we're going to be covering Adventures of Yogi Bear, Super Punch Out, Virtual Bart, Spider-Man and Venom, Maximum Carnage, and Brainlord for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. First up, The Adventures of Yogi Bear. Yuck. It's the best way I can put this. The graphics actually looked pretty decent. Like they clearly targeted it and went, let's make Yogi look like Yogi. And then they threw that onto what is an extremely standard platform game. You get some momentum when you're moving, and then you get going faster. You got jumps. You're just collecting things, stomping on enemies' heads. There's nothing special or interesting about this game other than your Yogi Bear. It's okay. I used the cheat code to bounce levels and see the end of the game. The last level was pretty maze-like. So, I don't know. Like, it was a completely standard platform game. I did not think much of it. And as such, I gave it a thumbs down. I don't think it's one I would ever seek out to own myself or suggest anyone play. Not when you've got other things like Mario World on this system. Just Yogi Bear. Not the big winner here. Next up, we got Super Punch Out. Mwah. Mwah. Chef's kiss. Mwah. So good. Super Punch Out looks great, sounds good. The sprites are massive and detailed. The shading's done well. The fights are very good. I mean, Punch Out's always been about pattern recognition. And I'm not actually very good at it. But I can get through the first, 10 boxes or something in this game fairly easily. I don't know what it is. I've never beat Super Punch Out. I probably never will. But man, do I enjoy playing this game. Like, it just looks so good and is so fun and it's one of those games that just captivates you when you start. You're like, oh, you really kind of get into it. And Super Punch Out is 100% on the must-own for a Super Nintendo. Like, I love Punch-Out 1. Like, it's a good game. I like the way the power meter works in Super Punch-Out. Instead of having to, hit the counter punches for the stars to do your Super Punch, you just have to get your power meter filled up. And that's much more based on pattern recognition to me about just avoiding getting hit. I guess in pattern recognition in Original Punch-Out, you just had to know when to counter the punches to get the stars. But I was bad at that. This I can do. So this one's a definite thumbs up. I think anybody who wants to collect for Super Nintendo should absolutely collect Super Punch Out. And even if you're just looking for Super Nintendo games to play and not collect, Super Punch Out should absolutely be amongst them. So good. Such a good game. Next up, Virtual Bart. So I think I've played 4 or 5 different Simpsons games. 6 maybe over the course of video gaming. And other than Hit and Run it's GameCube and I think PS2 and Xbox, but I got on the GameCube. Other than Hit and Run, and I think Krusty's Funhouse, which wasn't exactly a great game, but they were the 2 most playable. And the Simpsons arcade game, I guess, was also very good. Just bog standard beat 'em up though. This one is just as awful as any of the other Simpsons games that I've played. Most of them are bad. This one, what you're catching right here, is like the mini game. My biggest argument with this game is that's what it is. It's a series of different mini games, essentially. And the goal is to obviously beat each mini game, which I don't think I beat but maybe one mini game the entire damn time. But as soon as you hit start on the game, it shows the roulette wheel. And it spins Bart around in a circle, and whichever one he points to is the one the level he goes into. But at the top of that wheel is a space that shifts back and forth from an extra life to lose a life. And because it's a roulette wheel, you can absolutely RNG your way into a game over without ever setting foot in a level. And in fact, I damn near did. I spun it 3 times as soon as I turned the game on. And I lost 2 lives before I hit a level. And I was like, really? Has got to be probably the worst game design I've ever seen in my life. And we have seen some just god-awful games. But whoever decided that should exist as an option from like the word go. I don't know what the hell they were thinking. This level in particular is just Bart trying to throw fruit at kids before school picture day and hit everybody with a tomato. It didn't control well. The music wasn't great. The visuals actually weren't awful. Like, I think the Mode 7 in this particular section, and actually Mode 7 was used in a couple of them. There was another one where you were driving a motorcycle down like Road Warrior-esque apocalypse world. You know, and it didn't look terrible, but it controlled like garbage. And that's really all you can say for Virtual Bart. Is everything in it controlled like garbage. Here we see these are all the people I hit with tomatoes before the class picture. And I just want you to see the spinny wheel here. So here, that's the spinny wheel. Here comes Bart. You can see at the top, it's like a corn on the cob or an ice cream pop or something that gives you your extra life. Currently, it's not flashing as the take away a life, but it does do that. And awful. I think we hit, the Road Warrior. So here we're going to see a little bit of Bartpocalypse Road Warrior. You're on your bike, and you can kick left and right, just like in like Road Rash, and other dudes come up on bikes or in shopping cart, like goat carts, and you have to kick them out of the way, and they swing chains and things at you. So it's an interesting concept. Again, we see the Mode 7 here with the movement towards us. But it just, every single level controlled like absolute garbage. And I can't give that a thumbs up. That's a hard down for The Simpsons. Just do better. Next up, Spider-Man and Venom in Maximum Carnage. I do like Spider-Man, and then this game specifically gives you the option to occasionally be Venom, which is what you're seeing here. So the first couple levels are Spider-Man only, and then you start hitting levels where it lets you choose between the two. It is, however, faltered on the fact that it is a single-player beat-em-up. You cannot multiplayer this, which is unfortunate. But the game does look pretty good. God, I put it on pause, probably talking to chat in this clip. The game and the animations look really nice. Just like every other beat-em-up, it reskins the enemies, so it's just like the same enemies with different color outfits. And then as you beat the bosses from levels, they start showing up as regular enemies. I mean, they're not as hard as they were when they were bosses, but they're there. You get some standard beat-em-up cheese. Nothing particularly excessive. I did not beat the game. I only got about 3 levels in. There are some like hidden secret areas, which are nice. You get move, left, right. You get jump, punch. It's just one attack button. And so if you jump and then press the attack button while you're pushing in a direction, it'll do like a jump kick. But if they're just standing next to you, you punch them in the face. Standard, you walk up to them, you grab them, and then you can throw them. The music was decent. The sound was fine. It's nothing exceptional, but it was fun. I find most beat-em-ups to be pretty entertaining games, regardless of, what their theme or genre is. And I think comic book beat-em-ups work very well. I love Captain America and the Avengers, although the one for the Super Nintendo is not the one I would pick if I was going to find a copy of that game. So yeah, I gave Maximum Carnage here a thumbs up. And I know it's Spider-Man and Venom Maximum Carnage, but game, just call it Maximum Carnage. Everybody knows what the hell you're talking about. Also, the cartridge for this game was red, which I think there were only like 3 colored cartridges for the Super Nintendo. This one was red, I think Doom was red, and then I think Killer Instinct was black. And I think those are like the only 3 alternative cartridges colors that ever came out for the damn thing. I could be wrong, and someone might tell me I'm wrong, but I think. So thumbs up for that one. And finally, we get to Brainlord. Brainlord is an action RPG. It feels very Zelda-like, actually. Especially the view. So you've got this isometric kind of view. And there are other games that pull this view off. A lot of other games that pull the same kind of viewpoint off. But I feel like this one looks a little more Legend of Zelda-y. Your sprite's bigger, and I don't think the sprites are nearly as good as in Legend of Zelda Link to the Past. But it kind of has that same sort of feel. Your sword has a nice big swing arc, which is great. Unlike something where Lagoon, where you had this little bitty toothpick that stuck out and it was real hard to actually hit things. The music was good. It is a very puzzle-intensive kind of game. There's a lot of combat too, and the enemies do respawn pretty quickly, which is kind of irritating. It is more RPG than it's very much a mix, you know. Zelda is an action exploration game. It's not an RPG. You get different equipment, but you sure as hell don't get stats. This game has stats. And so you have to watch things like armor and attack power and such, and that's fine. It's a pretty simplified system. I didn't mind it. But it's cool. So there's the spike traps on the floor, and you can see little indicators that, you know, you'll know when that stuff is coming. You can see I have a pretty big sword swing. You do get the option of having two little fairies accompany you. Right here I have the fire fairy. The game is pretty quick about like onboarding you. So the first dungeon, which took basically 2 hours to finish, you will find, I think there's a second fairy in there somewhere I missed, but you'll get a couple health, like level ups to your maximum life. You'll find decent armor and weapons in there. You get a couple of these fairy dudes, plenty of money. Like, so the game's pretty good about like making you feel like you're accomplishing something, as opposed to standard JRPG where you grind and grind and grind and feel like you've done nothing. And I know I always attack JRPGs. I just find that boring, the whole grinding concept. This one, you know, at least as far as I found, you didn't have to really grind. You just went along your way. I will say when I got to the final boss of this dungeon, he was a bastard. And I don't know if maybe there was another piece of equipment somewhere in the dungeon that you really need to find to help you like kill him. But he was a tough one for sure. The biggest downside to this game, I think, is once you have two fairies on screen and you're slinging like fire magic missiles around on the screen and the enemies get on there, man, does it like stutter out, like bad slowdown and frame drops. But otherwise, the game was actually pretty decent. I did enjoy it. Is it one I would seek out to own? Me personally, probably not, but I did give it a thumbs up. I think if you like an action RPG style of game, I think this one's probably going to be up there with ones I would like. You know, I gave it a second day. I played it twice, and that says a lot for me on anything that's got RPG attached to it, because we all know that's just not my thing. So this one's a thumbs up. And so that's not bad. Recap 89, I get 3 thumbs up. It's been a long time since I've had that many thumbs up in a set of 5 games. So Maximum Carnage, Super Punch-Out, and Brainlord. Check those out. Yogi Bear, Virtual Bart, you can give a big pass on. And that's it. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. Recap 89 coming up on the 90th set of 5 games. Chugging away. But we'll see you guys later. I hope you all have a good one. Thanks for watching. Adios.